Here, come on.
Hey guys. Team, first ever golf. There we go. My boys.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Get in here, baby.
Are you related to Jack Nicklaus?
Oh, that's my grandpa.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he's a great guy.
Perfect. Are you from Columbus yourself? Or?
Yeah, well,
No,
actually,
we're from Mount
we live in Mount Vernon.
It's
Oh,
north.
very good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
great
was
guy.
up there just this past weekend. You live in Muirfield?
Mount
What,
Vernon.
Mount
No,
Vernon?
well,
Oh, Columbus.
Ohio, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do you live?
North Palm Beach, Florida. Yes,
Well,
sir.
the next time you come, if you give us your cards, we have
Are you a golfer?
really nice golf.
Not as good as I like to be. Not as good as you
Courses.
probably
It's crazy, right?
Mount Vernon, Ohio.
Couldn't
And,
believe myself.
we ended up owning a country club
Actually,
because
I
it
think
was
a good friend of
in
mine,
bad
Luke
straits.
Reardon,
as
has
it
gas
was.
in
He's gonna sit in the middle. Just
Yeah.
find where you're sitting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well,
He's gonna sit in the middle.
Which I subsidize everybody.
Exactly.
But it's a great, we started in 1916,
Do you know
so it's a
Luda?
really old course,
So,
big
Luda
trees.
is a big
and-
tall guy.
Actually,
Did it have an
pretty
original
challenging.
architect?
Yes, yeah,
Luda.
Tom,
David
that's who
Luda.
it is.
So,
Wow.
Jason.
Yeah, but it's a really.
What, is it near
really
Columbus?
cool. Yeah, it's 50 miles from
They all live for
Columbus,
him, yeah.
and then Tom also belongs to.
Carefully, I'm going around and do a picture of
Some
my.
people may not want their pictures taken.
Lots of enemies.
Just be aware of that.
I just the president.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just
No,
saying.
no other people. No, don't
Anybody who's
worry.
a golfer.
We go to Muirfield with them every year.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right there.
What's your reason? They all go to Bears. So they, yeah, we're pretty rent. We got
My dad. Yes, we are. Yep, very much.
US Open, sure.
Yeah.
Well, you guys come out next week.
Yeah, it's not too far.
It's beautiful.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Well, where we are is kind of like the very edge of the Appalachian, so it's really real close. Very close.
All right, everybody. Once again, the president, thank you for being here.
Please. They're good genes, the Jack Nicklaus genes over there.
You get a putting lesson.
I missed the golfing genes.
So Jackie is your father?
Yes, sir.
So he made, I don't know if you've ever heard this, he made the best speech, one of the best speeches I've ever seen, in the rotunda, right?
That was during the Congressional Medal, right? Yes, sir.
The congressional, whatever it is.
Yes, sir.
Freedom Medal,
The Freedom Medal, yes,
which
sir.
is the big deal. And your father made one of the best speeches I've ever seen.
Well, thank you.
And that's pretty good. I've seen a lot of speeches.
I'll tell you, you said that.
But I said, are you a professional speaker? He said, no. I said, then maybe you should be, right?
Well, I'll tell you, he's usually very nervous public speaking, like I am right now. But no,
Great deal.
we were very happy for him. He did great, so thank you.
So what is it, your cousin or whatever had the hole-in-one the other day?
Yes, sir.
That was something.
Yeah,
His swing
GT.
looks good. How good a golfer is he?
Much better than me.
Oh, really? No, his swing looked like,
He's a real player.
his swing
15
looked
years old.
perfect. Yeah. He has the gene, I guess, right?
Yeah, it skipped me, but
Why, are you not that good of a golfer?
no, I could play, but
He's just
What-
good looking.
What did you get down, what was your lowest handicap?
I'm a 3 right now.
Yeah, see, a 3 would be a bad player.
Everyone aspires to be a three, if your last name is Nicholas.
What's that?
18 is a perfect guess.
Yeah. No, it's a great family. Say hello to all.
Yes, sir. They say hi as well.
Special guy.
Thank you.
Special people. Thank you all very much. Great to be with you. You see what's happening. We're doing really well. I don't know why. I get nothing but bad publicity and the polls keep going up. But they're at the highest level they've ever been since we've been in office. Quite a bit higher than election day, which was pretty amazing. That was an amazing day, right?
We were
Oh, was it?
We were there.
That was truly, I
that's
told
right.
your grandfather that, I said, what you did, he said it was incredible. I said, what you did is more incredible. You won 18 majors. He said, no, it's not. I said, yes, it is. I still say it's harder and more improbable to win 18 majors. Just as Tiger, right?
Exactly.
It's looking like it's going to be a tough one. But we're doing better than ever before, and we're accomplishing a lot. The North Korea thing is moving along really well. We have a site now. We picked a site. Be announced pretty soon, and a location plus a date. And he really wants to do something, I tell you. Part of the reason he wants to do two things. I mean, maybe the rhetoric, and maybe we put sanctions like you wouldn't believe. The team is heading over to China tonight, to work on the whole trade craziness because, they've been averaging $500 billion a year.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes. Well, everybody has to. It's brutal. They're tough, but I always say when you're $500 billion down, you can't lose the trade war. You can't lose. It's like somebody said today, but why, because I'm doing a very aggressive thing. And this is all sort of like off the record, right?
Yes.
But they said, why would you be doing that with China, blah, blah, blah? You could do much. I said, yeah, but much less doesn't get you. I said, this is like you own a baseball team, and it's the first inning, and the other team scores 32 runs. What do you have to lose? Walk away, you start a new game the next day. And 32 runs in the first inning, because that's basically what it is. We're 500 billion down with China. We're 800 billion down throughout the world. 800
Per
billion
year.
a year.
Wow.
So we lose 800
Crazy.
billion a year.
Incredible.
And then you have the globalists that think that's okay, but they're wrong. They think it's fine when a factory or a plant moves to Mexico and opens up and you lose 3,000 jobs in Michigan. It's not. You have people, smart people, they really believe it. But, then you have other smart people that don't believe it. I'm one of them.
Thank God. Barry's in that world with steel in Ohio.
Well, tell me, and I hear steel's doing better now.
We definitely are. We have 15 plants in the U.S. making steel tubing, one in Canada. I'm originally, I started in Canada at 19 years old, 2,300 employees, and we're now the largest steel consumer in the U.S. We actually buy more steel than General Motors. But it's been a huge
So we put very
part.
substantial tariffs on steel. We're doing pretty big numbers on stopping some of it from coming in. I don't want to stop too much because I don't want to run out of steel because the economy's doing really well. So, are you finding it's better now because of what I'm doing?
So there's no question, the price of domestic steel has gone up, which has helped the domestic steel industry, which is where it needs to be. There's a healthy price, right? There's too low and too high. So there's a healthy price where you can make nice returns and invest in the equipment and invest in the industry. We've certainly seen that on our product. The tariffs are definitely had an effect. The issue we still have is now that the price of domestic steel has gone up. Chinese steel still infiltrates. Everyone says China doesn't import a lot of steel.
Yeah, they do.
They do. It's all backdoor, it's all whack-a-mole. So they're still using that steel to go through Thailand, through Taiwan. The worst, unfortunately, is South Korea.
Can you believe it?
They pound a lot of steel.
We're doing a big number for that. Can you believe it?
Well, what's amazing is we spend billions of dollars to save them from North Korea, and the thinking we get is to ruin our industry. So the tariffs are definitely
So they do the
helping.
transshipping, right?
Yes,
So they're transshipping what steel? China steel?
Chinese steel primarily.
Can you believe it? Yeah. South Korea.
South Korea is
I
the
can write a
worst.
book on
Thailand would be next.
POSCO steel, right?
South Korea.
Lost, yeah.
Hyundai,
I mean, how
POSCO.
we ever got involved in South Korea in the first place, tell me about it. How we ended up in a Korean war. We're fighting
Wow.
the Korean War to keep these two places from
And the thing
getting together. We're here over there.
Don't give up now! Come on,
South Korea work. The whole thing's a little bit.
You haven't
it
heard
is
anything
what
yet,
it is.
Stan.
We'll get to our industry.
Well, not only that, I mean, they're one of the toughest traders we do business with. They're probably tougher than China, they're just smaller, so the numbers are smaller. We have a $32 billion deficit with South Korea.
Wow.
And then they say, well, people, I asked the general, so why do you think we're doing this? Sir, it's for trade. I said, we're losing $500 billion, in that area. So we're doing it for trade, but we're losing $500 billion, including China. We're losing $32 billion with South Korea. So it's crazy, but, it is what it is, and it's coming out good. and a lot of good things are happening, and the trade deals are being renegotiated, including the deal with South Korea.
The quotas.
What do you think of the quota deal we did?
Well, the quotas are the key.
We lowered it by 30%.
Yes, that's absolutely key. If we can do that, once you throttle
Yeah,
back.
but you don't want to
the
be at a
quantum-
point, and one thing I know, I don't want to be at a point where we don't have enough steel in this
One
country.
re-
All of a sudden, steel triples,
Re-
and.
Remember, I'm
that's-
a steel buyer, I'm not a producer, so I'm on the end of that, right? So I have to compete to buy that steel, and I don't wanna have steel, I don't wanna be in a point where I don't have steel or it's too high.
Yeah.
So I fully support steel prices going up and the steel industry being healthy, because if I don't have them, I'm dead.
Right.
But the quotas throttle it back enough where we can sit there and have a consistent.
Did you know what we're doing with South Korea, 30%?
100%, yeah, it's perfect.
30% back.
That number, if you use that number for most of the other bad players, what I call the dirty dozen, if you will, that would solve everything.
Don't forget, when I do the tariffs, and nobody talks about, they talk about jobs, they talk about steel. Now, steel's been doing much better, and like US Steel's opening up like 4 plants now, which is unthinkable. They haven't done it in 30 years. Don't forget that the country's taken in billions of dollars. Nobody talks about that. When you charge 25% and 15% or 10% for aluminum, and all that stuff is pouring in, and you're charging a 25% tax on the steel that's coming in, we're taking in, as a country, billions of dollars. Nobody talks about that. They talk about jobs, and they talk about steel plants. But to me, the big thing, we're taking in billions and billions of dollars for doing nothing. We're also negotiating deals that we could have never negotiated, because countries are now coming to us begging to negotiate deals that have been screwing us for years. They screw us so badly, it's hard to believe. And now they're coming, would like to talk, like the European Union.
Yeah.
It's another beauty. So, we don't make with anybody, we'll lose with everybody.
Mr. President.
There are about 2 countries. One sells us lemons, Argentina. We made about $3 with Argentina. And we have actually a deficit of trade deficit, 800. Who could think of it? 800 billion, including.
Mr. President, we were the first company ever to beat China at the WTO. And, when we went there and explained.
Well, the WTO is the problem.
It is a problem, no question.
Without the WTO, China is.
But we beat China, and all they did was transship the steel.
That's right, they go to a different location.
And ship it in through 11 different countries.
No, they got it all sorts of ways, but it ends. It ends.
And look, our company does well, and we're very happy, but we could employ another 1,000 people, making $70, $80, $100,000 a year.
If it was more expensive.
If we could throttle back the raw quantum of these imports coming in, we would absolutely, I have 3 plants now that are completely idle, closed, because of South Korea and Thailand. I would open them up overnight if those imports were throttled back. And what we've seen in March and April is actually they've gone up because they're trying to, beat the deadline. And we'll see if they throttle back. And supposedly they're using up their quotas, which hopefully start January 1 of this year, and they use up. But we would have another 700 to 1,000 people working for us.
Well, you're gonna see prices go up. You're gonna see, hopefully not too much. See, I have a theory that if we didn't put quotas on, China subsidizes their steel, and they have to. If we didn't see quotas, the steel wouldn't even go up.
Yeah.
Because they'll put more money into it, even with the 25% tax.
Yes.
It's still not gonna come up, because they'll just put more money into it. And we take in a lot of money, we make a fortune on it. So we'll see. Aluminum has gone down. I put a 10% tax on aluminum coming in. It's actually gone down 4%. Now it's about even, but it actually started out going down 4%. So it's been pretty wild. I think we're gonna have some very good times. But we have some very big trade deals to worry about. The China, when they hear what we're proposing,
They're not gonna be
they're
happy.
not gonna be too happy.
I don't think so.
Are you hoping to discipline them with the WTO eventually?
Well, the
Because
WTO is.
They steal everything.
Yeah,
they
well, the
cheat,
WTO is
they lie.
worse than them.
Yeah.
WTO is totally in their pocket. Well, the people that made the deal with the WTO were not smart people. They made a deal with the WTO where we lose every lawsuit
Yeah.
until the last year. In the last year, we've won every lawsuit because they all think I'm gonna pull our country out. We're like the punching bag. We're like the dummies that get punched in the face all day long and come back for more. And, but they now know that I get the WTO. China didn't become great until the WTO. From the day they joined the WTO, which was a Clinton disaster, they went up like a rocket ship. They were this way for 1,000 years. And then they got into the WTO, and they've taken it. Hey, look, I give them credit.
Well, they have taken advantage.
Yeah, but I give them credit. See, I
We
give
let them.
You're doing the same
not
thing.
against us.
Yeah, we gave them.
Our
rules that
former
they-
leaders are great geniuses that allowed it to happen.
Exactly.
Bush,
It's knowledgeable.
Bush, he gets us into the war, he gets us into the Middle East, that was a beauty. The Middle East, so we're into the Middle East right now for $7 trillion.
So much. Wow.
And if you want to fix a window on a school, they don't have the money, you know, it's like, but we're into the Middle East as of this moment for $7 trillion. That's over 18 years.
Did we borrow that from China?
Yeah, well,
So-
Probably.
So no big deal.
Well, that's the beauty of it. So
Can't be borrowed, right?
Right?
China rips us
What
off.
love?
China rips us off for years, and we owe them $2 trillion.
Incredible.
They have $2 trillion worth of our bonds.
Maybe we should just call it even.
Yeah, well, essentially, that's what we're doing.
They manipulated the currency to get there, so we might as well.
So the WTO allowed China to do what they did. The WTO was a weapon to hurt the United States, to allow people to enrich themselves. And European Union's the same thing. The European Union is a group of countries that got together to screw the United States.
That's the bottom
It's
line.
as simple as that. And frankly, they're probably worse than China in a sense, just smaller. They're worse than China in the sense of barriers. We lose 151 billion with them.
Maybe not so much as copying though, because
No.
China does that.
No, but the European Union's really bad. You know, it doesn't sound like it. You know,
Yeah.
the European Union, we're all sort of from there, right?
Yeah.
But it's, the European Union's brutal. But we're changing that rapidly too. They have, they can't even believe it. So we're having fun, you know, it's what we do. It's
Well,
what I
I
do.
think resolve is finally,
Right. That's
they see resolve, and
they
it's,
see.
that's
Well,
all
but
about.
you have people that work for me that just don't realize they're so, they want to make these deals that are just nothing deals, you know, that just, and not only me, you know, Congress, where they come, please don't go after NAFTA too hard. I said, I'd like to terminate it.
Right.
And they can, you know, it's like, oh my God, they're petrified, because they know what they have. You know, like the farmers, who are great actually, but the farmers know what they have. And they've been on a downward trend for 15 years.
Yeah.
So I said, look, you know, you guys are downward trend. You could be on an upward trend, but to do that, you have to shake it up. Meaning, you terminate, you know, a couple of deals like NAFTA. NAFTA is the worst deal we ever made. I think the WTO is actually worse. If you want to know the truth. I think the World Trade Organization maybe is worse because it allowed China to kill us. But we don't have any good ones. Hillary Clinton made a deal with the South Koreans. You know, that was a South Korea deal. You know that deal? That was a Hillary special.
Absolutely.
We're going to make 250,000 jobs, and she was right for South Korea. The jobs.
For them,
I think we made $500,000.
We made, she said this is going to create 250,000 jobs, and she was right. It did.
before you sign off on that
How's your
deal.
golf club over there?
The golf club is doing great.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
Works for me.
Is it a nice club?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Is that where they had the, what?
President's Cup.
President's Cup was there in
Was there?
2015.
Yeah, yeah,
How did the President's
2015.
Cup- How did you like the President's Cup?
Loved it.
So the President's Cup has never been the Ryder's Cup, right? And you
That's right.
think the
That's right.
concept is better. The Ryder Cup is the most unbelievable sporting event. The President's Cup is good, but it's never been the same. And you would think the concept is better.
Concept is better, the rest of the world, but the competition is not quite there as it is
You know,
in
it doesn't
Europe.
make sense. So we're playing Britain, or whatever, UK. And that competition is tougher than when we play the world. Figure that one out,
Well,
right?
well, golf began it.
I don't know what to tell you.
No, but isn't that right? It's good.
His
We
grandfather.
won every President's Cup or something,
Yeah.
but the Ryder Cup is tough to win. But the Ryder Cup is only like the UK. But the spirit at the Ryder Cup is really a unique experience. And the President's Cup so far has never captured that.
But I would tell you, it was an amazing venue for Korea. Never been to Asia. It's been Australia.
Don't you have a women's tournament too, a big one?
They have it's called the Crown, the LPGA Crown,
Right.
and it's
it's 8 nations, and you have 4-player teams, women's, and it's U.S., Germany, Spain, Korea, etc. It's being held at the Jack Nicklaus Golf Club this fall.
How's it doing? How's business over there? Good?
The golf is unbelievable.
I mean, I've
The
never
collusion
seen-
and the corruption with the government is horrendous.
In
We're
South
getting
Korea?
screwed.
Oh, in South Korea?
We're getting screwed so badly. And
I wrote you a letter of recommendation, right?
did you ever?
I
Because
spoke
of
to my
Jack.
grandpa, I think 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and he was very appreciative and gracious of your reaching out on his
Well, no,
behalf.
that letter is fine. I mean, I know they have the letter because the president told me he got the letter, so they must be treating you pretty good. But
For 8 years of Obama, I wanted the same change, and I'm suffering over there, okay? I took a chance, I took a risk, 8 years. And the guy finally hit Congress, said, Mr. Gale, don't waste your time. The president's not interested in helping business. It's true. I go to you one time,
it must be
teamed up
tough.
with
It
Jeff.
must be tough dealing with these people.
No, but I'll tell you what, we have got, that is all part of the free trade agreement. Don't sign that agreement. Don't sign that agreement until it's right. But also,
That's the other great name is free trade.
why don't you share something more? You know,
It's so sad.
as President Jack and I work together,
Right.
right? Yeah, in Nashville. He has another message for you.
Go ahead.
Well, you kind of prefaced the conversation here. You've chosen a spot for your meeting with Kim Jong-un and
Right.
the North Korean leadership in the coming months. But if you would consider Songdo Songdo's the city that stands, the 70% owner and the master planner of, my family specifically and the Gales as well be honored if you would consider it. There's,
We're very far down the line, but I
Are you?
will. You know that Kim Jong-un is a great golfer. You know that, right? Better than
Best in the
What
world.
do you say?
Best in the world.
Course record 18.
I got this first round ever or something like that.
By the way, his whole goal in life is to meet you. Can't you tell? It's true.
You should play him for
His whole goal in life, he wants to be the president. He wants to be you. He would like to be you.
Nicholas looked like a beginner. Did you ever hear that? He shot an 18. Right?
That was the grandfather, wasn't it?
The whole thing
Is that the father or the
That is
grandfather?
the-
Or was that him?
That is just one weird deal.
It's that rocket driver of his.
It's actually his father. You know who they said shot an 18 on purpose.
Hole in one is
Yeah,
first hole.
right in there. Yeah.
If I could, the best line ever, I didn't call him short and fat. Okay, that is the greatest line ever. That is the great line.
This guy's crazy. This guy's crazy.
Well, I thought the best line, this piece is the prize, when they were talking about the Nobel Prize, because it was very,
Absolutely. I mean,
Well, the funny thing was that thank you, fellas. How's good? Business is good? Look at this. What a great group.
incredible, right?
Business is good, right? Look, see that? They don't want it. No, he said today that President Trump should get the Nobel Prize. I said, it's a little early. Of course, Obama got it and never did anything.
I still don't know.
That's
I
he was
still,
nominated 8 days in.
He got it for winning the election.
yeah,
That was
that's
so
exactly right for winning the election. That's the only reason he
In
got it.
2008, we shipped 125,000 tons for the border fence, the border wall.
Right?
And that started up again, and we just started shipping about
good.
first order of 20,000 tons of tubing for that wall. Replacement barrier. and-
Square tuber?
Yes, that's what we make. So we're the.
Are you
prime-
doing a shiny finish or are you doing a rough finish?
No, we're that basic black finish, and then they take
I
that.
can't believe how they can plant that thing.
Yeah, they do, but now.
I was watching it yesterday.
With the
It's
taller,
incredible.
that new design, which is gonna be great, but it's a fantastic boon for the steel industry in the US, and we're proud to be a supplier,
That's
the
great.
primary supplier of that.
Are you doing that with the Army Corps of Engineers or something?
No, in '08, we did it with Boeing, actually, it was who procured that, but now we're doing it through companies like Gibraltar Steel and others who are the fabricators that bid on that job. So, All American Steel, All American jobs.
That's great.
It's fantastic.
Well, it's going up.
Yeah,
It's going up.
we're very proud.
Do you see what's going on at the border though? Can you believe it?
I saw it yesterday. That's incredible.
Obama is not president.
Thanks for identifying the problem.
Well, you take a look at that. You have thousands of people, and if you really look, take the wall down.
That's
And
it.
then just be walking in, you can see it.
Clearly.
Now, a few people can get up. It's amazing that they can shimmy up that steel though. Now, that's old stuff, and that's rough on the outside and rustic. It's been a long time.
They
But
galvanize.
you do have to be able to see through the wall, I think. Can you see that? If you can't see through the wall, that's a problem, because you don't know what's on the other side.
That's what every border agent tells us that. They
Yeah.
want to be able to see what's coming.
Because I really wanted a concrete wall 30 feet high, very slick outside. But you have to be able to, you know, they actually said that these drug dealers, it's so dangerous to have a solid wall because they take the drugs and it weighs 100 pounds approximately, a bag, you know, satchel. They call it a satchel. And they throw it over,
Wow.
they throw it out over the wall. And it goes over the wall and it will land on a guy's head and he kills him.
Wow.
I said, wait a minute.
On our border, guys?
Yeah, no, our border guys will be walking.
Oh.
And they throw it from one side, so if you can't see through the wall, they throw the drugs, they have a catapult, they throw it over the wall, and it lands on the other side of the wall. And it can hit people. Can you imagine you get hit with 100 pounds of drugs? I'll take this.
I thought you were saying they were hit. I thought
Only
you
in
were saying they were
America,
hit the dealers on the other side. They weren't very smart to begin with,
Well,
so.
actually, usually you have the deals on the other side waiting.
Yeah, that's right.
But when they see the border guys, they sort of head out. The whole thing is preposterous, but I would have loved to have seen a concrete wall, but you just can't do that.
The whole thing in California is
It's
preposterous
a healthy
with these
combination of
cities.
both. If you know, I mean, you've seen the design, so. And it slows them down, and it slows the migration
slows
over.
them down.
So they can get to that.
Well, we actually have, the new one is like that, but now it's taller.
Right.
It's got the thing, it's got nothing in between, it's held in the ground, like flagpoles. And it's got very strong points at the top. That'll be much tougher.
What is that, a wall?
It's like pointed, yeah, wall.
No,
It's
the
got-
points are,
It's just like the other
cut
one.
on a diamond, corner to corner, and they can't.
You cut it with
We
the
do all the
top.
fabrication for that and supply it.
And how sharp is that on top?
Very sharp. I mean, it's a razor sharp.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cut on a two blazer.
It's very hard to shimmy over that side.
You're not hopping over.
Right? Whose shrimp are these? Are they shrimp? Huh? Yeah, you have the sauce.
So, little President, how are we gonna win that midterm election? Give you a heck of a lot more power.
Well, I know. It's,
Just kick somebody.
as you know, most times you don't. But I think the economy is so good. That's good, that's fine. I think the economy is so good that we're gonna do much better than people. We have, just, I guess it's complacency. Something happens when you win the presidency. Then you go on and win the presidency 2 years after that. History, it's almost like 100% of the time. It's a lot. And there's nothing 100%. But I think 93% of the time they lose the midterm. But I think, look, we have to see what the economy is in a few months.
It's gonna be good.
It's booming.
I think so, right?
It's absolutely booming.
You know, the stock market's up 40% since I won. But actually, the economy is actually better than that.
So I got into a discussion with someone in real estate about immigration. I like everything President Trump's doing. Except for immigration, we need people over here. I said, of course we do. What did President Trump say that we didn't need immigration? I said, look, let me put it to you in a really easy example. You're in real estate, you own buildings. You got a water main that comes into the building. You need water, good clean water in the building to make it run. I said, yeah. I said, what do you do when the water main breaks? How do you fix it? He said, well, you shut it off. I said, yeah, you shut it off. And then you fix it, and then you turn it back on, you bring nice water in. You don't shove the pump into the basement and pump it out while it's still broken. I said, that's all President Trump wants to do. The water main's broken, you need to shut it off, fix it, and bring the water back into the building control.
Well, it's all merit based, right? You need someone who's gonna come here who can actually contribute, not just suck off. I mean, it doesn't
Well,
work.
it
I mean,
wants to come here for that reason, as opposed to just.
hey, it's free.
For handout.
Yeah.
You see what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan? It's unbelievable.
Because of the.
Unbelievable.
whole Islamic thing.
It's unbelievable.
What about the Sanctuary City? That's completely incredible. Like you live in a
They're
different world.
It's all changing.
They're changing. They realize it's terrible.
Yeah, they see it.
This whole caravan is a positive thing because it's showing people how crazy it is.
Where is it now? Are they at the border waiting?
Yeah,
They
they,
hit the
whoever's
wall
left,
already.
yeah.
But these aren't the base that's gonna win the House or the Senate. The people that came to the voting booth, like 16, need to wake up with, from you, from Brian's help, and that don't be complacent.
Well, part of our job is to make sure that they realize that just because he is not on the ticket,
Right.
doesn't mean
That's
he's not on the
exactly-
ticket.
Right.
Because he is on the ticket, because
He
all
is.
those
But we
politics.
won the race in Arizona 3 nights ago. Of course, we're getting no credit for that. They're saying we should, because I won it by 22, so she won it by 6.
Don't even hear about
I
it.
would have taken, 2 votes is okay as far as I'm concerned. But, the headline is, that was much closer.
Right.
But it was another win. We won 6 of them, and nobody talks about it. We won 6 special races. I think we lost one. We lost
Roy
one in
Moore.
Pennsylvania.
Roy Moore.
No, well, that's different. That was the
That was
second.
yeah.
Listen, two and a half years ago, I was with Goldman Sachs, and I said, President Trump, Trump's gonna win the election. They said, you're crazy. I said, absolutely, I'll bet you anything you want. And they all sat there, and they thought I was nuts. They said, well, why do you think that? I said, because I'm in the heartland, I see what's going on, I see what the real workers, the forgotten people want. Not everybody can work in Silicon Valley. I'm not gonna retrain someone in Sharon, Pennsylvania to go to Silicon Valley. They're 55 years old, they can't sell their house there. They deserve to earn a good living. What's wrong with working with your hands? And, my point is, sure enough, you did. And that night, we were jumping up and down with our son on the bed, and I'm texting these guys at Goldman Sachs saying, I told you. So
Well,
you
that was
can't
the
believe
most
the
exciting
polls.
evening.
That was incredible.
You can't
That
believe
was-
the poll.
That was a.
ESPN said that was the greatest sporting event in it.
It was great.
That's what it was, sporting
It
event.
just didn't stop. It's Ohio, it's this one. it's-
Standing up there in the
The
second
best was
row, watching
Pennsylvania,
their each
at
one. of them.
99% with, it had like 3 votes left.
Right,
Meaning,
and we're watching it. We're like,
if they
Jay,
won every vote
they tried to do
remaining.
everything not to announce
Yeah,
it. CNN just
Two and a
tried.
half hours.
Yes,
They
we
were
were there.
there.
I was
So
there,
you-
absolutely.
Honestly, they're going more crazy now.
And Mr. President,
The press is now more crazy.
I got 1,000 employees in Pennsylvania, and there's a hard hat signed by about 200 of them sitting in a bag
Wow.
over there for you saying thank you. So we appreciate it. They're very.
Well, I think the press is now more crazy than they were then. They're going totally bananas.
They keep doubling down.
They don't.
Oh, you're in their head.
Huh?
Your best real estate deal was getting rent free in their heads for 2 years. It's
They've never
they're
seen
going
it.
nuts.
It's all right. What the heck?
Well, the genius.
I think
of
we're
the
gonna. I think we're
tweet-
gonna do well, but I don't want to say it too much. But I think we're gonna do better than people think.
You
Yeah.
took out,
Same
you took
as
out the
before.
media.
Well, they have low, light. I mean, you have this one woman, Maxine Waters.
Oh, she's not.
I say she's a very low IQ person, and she's. I say it publicly. I say it.
We've heard it.
We've heard that
You mean all had no
Oh,
cow?
but you don't hear from her anymore. It's the craziest thing. Since I've said that, I don't hear from her anymore. Really, it's crazy. How's the food? Good. Nice
incredible.
weather.
Excellent.
But no, I do want you to touch on this whole pop culture, Candace Owens, Kanye West. That was a big for that younger African
Could be
American
good.
generation. I think it's going to be a
People
tremendous
think about
shift
it,
in
right?
that.
And Tommy and I do a lot of work with Candace and Charlie Kirk. And so, yeah, it's been great.
It's a great
I'm actually
shift.
traveling with both of them this whole week.
But she's really become.
She's great.
done
And, I mean,
well.
she works for Charlie Kirk,
Fantastic.
who is a genius as well. Just brilliant, And you saw there was a big article today in one of the big papers talking about how the Democrats are losing the stranglehold on the millennials. And it's literally all him.
But I have to tell you, our son is 16, our daughter's 20, and now they're texting us. Did you hear? Did you see on Instagram? And
They're moving.
now my son sat me down last night. Did you hear the Conway West song, Mom? I'm like, no, Jack, I didn't. And he's
Have
like,
you heard the
"You
new
didn't."
song?
And let
Yeah,
me.
but it's good. I've heard.
And then
I'll
he
text-
talked
I'll
the
text
lyrics
you.
through. And
Brand new.
so it was just interesting that the young people they are talking about, the high schoolers are talking about. This is in Canada, by the way.
Yeah,
So-
even more.
Right. You're talking about it on
Left of
both sides,
Connie.
and our daughters
Yeah.
in the States, so.
NAFTA was good because I got my wife's shoe. Just for that.
How are your businesses going? How are they doing?
Well, we pumped a lot of natural gas for wellhead to this house and everywhere else.
So why are the prices so high? There's so much oil and gas.
Natural gas is high.
Is that OPEC? Well, yeah. But oil's almost at 70.
Wall Street.
Huh?
I would think that somebody is.
There's no good
No good
reason
reason.
for it, because there's plenty.
Well, it's the monopoly of OPEC. Right?
Yeah, but OPEC is, they shot themselves in the foot when they started the oversupply thing in 2015. And
But aren't the
they don't
frackers-
know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, aren't the frackers out now because of the price and they're going crazy opening up new wells? Right?
Absolutely.
That's what I've
Yeah,
heard.
you can't have, 30's too low,
Yeah.
80, 90's too high, that healthy range in there, they can make money there.
65 to
Yeah,
70 is
see,
probably about right.
fracking's changed, right? You used to frack a well 4 times. I make the tube for it, they make the pumps to.
It's really called exploration
Yeah.
and production.
Yeah,
not
they're
fracking.
much more productive. You
I
frack
just
a well
like to call
30
it
times
fracking
now.
because it
Yeah.
sounds bad.
Yeah,
So the technology is so much different. You can go back and all these dry wells, you pull it out.
Over the.
But is the fracking starting then? Because for a while the price was too low, then it closed up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how it
no,
is.
last year was a recovery year, and this year is a really good year.
Texas, West Texas.
Drilling is really.
Permian Basin is just-
going well.
So will that drive the price down?
No, I think it was 30.
It helps Texas and
Yeah.
Ecuador now that
We
we
always
produce
do
the
too well.
15, it got 30.
The more they produce it,
I think it was
it drive it
30.
down.
It should, yes.
Is it going to?
We're actually self-sufficient really right now, basically,
Absolutely.
right, meaning
100%.
producing as much as our own.
Yeah, if it wasn't for West Texas, we'd probably have $85 oil.
Yeah,
No,
more.
probably more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how big is West Texas compared, comparing like West Texas to Saudi Arabia, okay? What's your difference?
We're probably 60%,
60?
is that right?
Of the
Yeah,
year.
but 6 million barrels a day?
Yeah,
Don't
Yeah.
forget about North
That's a
Dakota.
lot.
Yeah.
That's just West Texas.
that's
But
just West Texas.
What's the quality in West Texas?
Light,
It's
sweet,
really good.
it's really
It's
high.
like sweet
Yeah.
food.
So what's the quality in Venezuela? Very bad, right? Very heavy?
Heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy sulfur.
And we're,
And is that hurting
we're
oil prices?
importing the Venezuelan oil because our refineries aren't able to
There's the problem.
change to light sweet crude like we have here.
You need
That's
new-
why we
you-
export.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you
so
need-
we're
you-
exporting
you
it to
need
other
new
refineries
refineries.
because we can't
Right, that's the
refine it.
problem. No
We
one's
need
like-
what, new refineries?
New refineries that are able to refine the
Yeah.
the crude.
When was the last time we built a new
That
refinery?
was
Under the tax
for
plan, you can do.
35
Uh,
years or something.
1974 or 78 was a new refinery.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put it down.
Before cell phones.
Yep, a long time before something.
Guy told me last weekend in Big Lake, Texas, which is a little bitty dot out in the Permian Basin, he pulled into a Motel 6. Cost him $450 per night.
Very big.
It is booming.
When is that? When?
Last week.
Wow.
It's just booming.
But the geopolitical consequences, natural,
Motel 6.
LNG changes the game, right?
Yeah.
If we export LNG, we can supply Europe and Putin's done.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is
But
It's much more
why
expensive.
Putin
But
is,
he's not.
is.
Think from a national security
He's
standpoint, how
over.
fantastic it is.
But he's over, he's done.
Well, how about Germany opening up a pipeline into Russia? And we're supposed to be
okay with
fighting
that.
Russia.
Right.
Right.
So Germany's paying Russia like $2 billion a month,
Crazy.
and they're a member of NATO.
Yes.
Figure that.
And,
Crazy.
They
and
can shut 'em off.
they're building
Crazy.
coal plants in
Yeah,
Germany.
and we're paying
Germany.
90% of the cost of NATO.
Well, we're in the process of
Develop their own
purchasing an
gas.
energy
Well,
company in Ukraine right now that should help cut off Russia's.
How's Ukraine doing? Don't ask.
They love you though. I can
Yeah,
tell you
I
that
know.
much. They love you.
Great. I
Great.
tell you, they're great fighters.
Great fighters. They love you.
One thing
There's-
they are, they're great fighters. They've been fighting for so long, they don't know what to do without fighting.
yeah.
But they're
Russia's
good
had them
fighters.
Yes, right.
under their
Yeah, well,
for
they've
so
been
need
long.
fighting
directions.
for a long time.
They're waiting for direction. I can tell you that much. They're ready. I think there's definitely a good
But
opportunity.
it's a problem.
A big
You
problem.
guys just had a big
Huge.
order of Javelin missiles over there, right? The anti-tank missiles.
Yes.
I saw that go through today, right?
Yes. They did.
Not only
Today?
this.
Like, I read about it today. I don't know when it
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
It must have happened within the last couple of days.
They're getting it, but yeah. Listen,
Think Russia ever goes in and gets Ukraine or not?
it's I don't. They would love
Huh?
to. They would love to, but they're scared of you. Right now.
But they got what
if-
they wanted. They wanted
Back
access
is
to the
back.
sea.
Not really, no, they want Ukraine. Ukraine is a vast, not even Crimea, the resources in Ukraine are tremendous.
Huge. It's like
and
West
huge.
Texas.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And right now, not only that, but Ukraine is a sore throat in their throat because of supplying the pipeline, because all the pipeline goes through Ukraine to Poland.
Ukraine has oil?
A lot.
Yeah.
A
Of
lot
course.
of people.
Number one in Europe.
Yeah, we could.
Ukraine?
Yes.
How come they're
Europe
not
and-
doing much? They don't have any money.
Exactly.
Exactly.
They've been.
Now,
Russia
why aren't
owned
the
it.
companies going in too risky?
Because exactly the point. They were supporting the Clintons for all these years and hoping that, you know, and then when obviously you won.
Victor's been-
Right now,
Biden.
Biden, yeah, that was a big thing over
Starting
there.
to, having Ray Washburn at OPEC, he's able to ensure some of the economic investment into Ukraine. The I guess geology is very similar to West Texas. You got a lot of
Yes.
these
Yeah,
guys in West Texas who are going over there.
But the potential is number one.
The potential is incredible.
And the communists kept great records of, you know,
Yes,
everything underground. So
absolutely. They have everything there. They're just right now waiting for your support a little bit to make sure, because obviously if they go on their own, Russia won't let them do it, because they'll cut off a lot of their revenue.
How long have they lasted a fight with Russia?
Not very
No, I don't think very long.
30 seconds.
Without us, not very long.
Without us?
Without us, no. But Russia also, keep in mind, talks a big game, but they're not ready to. They're not ready to play.
Well, Russia's the, what, 13th economy
Yeah, it's
size?
yeah, their
smaller than
economy-
France. Like it's
Their
not
economy, yeah,
Not
their
very
economy.
low
big game,
population.
but not.
He talks a
Yeah.
big game, but even with Syria, it was a great job. he
How's
did
Ukraine
there.
feeling about it all right now?
Oh,
They're actually
Very much appreciate.
very much appreciate everything you're doing.
No, but do they feel they're gonna be okay?
They feel they're gonna be okay if you support them. Yeah,
And
if you
what do you
don't
think
love
of the
Russia.
leader?
Leader is good.
Poroshenko is a good guy. He wants the right thing for. I mean, the
It's
biggest
always us that has to support everybody.
well, the biggest
Yeah,
problem is the
right.
corruption
And you
there.
wonder,
Yeah.
why isn't it Germany supporting?
He's very
Why
much,
aren't
he
these
needs
others?
support.
Huh?
Germany not supported him, yeah. Not at all.
Germany's going behind our.
Germany's not doing
They're
much.
supporting Russia.
They're supporting Russia.
You think so?
Oh,
I think
100%.
Yeah, that's
2
right,
billion to
too.
pay Russia.
100%.
It
100%.
just makes no sense.
It doesn't exactly. It doesn't make
Poroshenko
sense.
needs
no
support
sense.
from you,
A
President.
lot of a lot of the European countries, they're backstabbing us basically and dealing with Russia, and that's why you're having such. I think if you take a look, the biggest problem there, I think where you need to start is we gotta get rid of the ambassador. She's still left over from the Clinton administration.
Where the ambassador, where Ukraine?
Yeah, and she's basically walking around telling everybody, "Wait, he's gonna get impeached. Just wait." I mean,
Really?
it's incredible. It's
She'll
like,
be gone tomorrow.
yeah, well,
What's her name?
I don't
I
remember
don't
the
have her
name.
name back.
So one of the things
I don't know.
that will be, now that we have a Secretary of State that's been sworn in.
Get rid of her.
Hooray.
One of the first
Okay,
things
get her out
that
tomorrow.
will,
I don't care, get her out tomorrow. Take her out, okay?
Excellent.
Do it.
Make a note.
Excellent.
Yep,
Congratulations on Mike. I think it'll be great.
Yes, Mike Pompeo, great one.
Yeah.
Pompeo's gonna be good, he's doing a good job, already he's doing a good job. No, we got it going pretty good, we got a lot of interesting things.
Good stuff.
Really a
Mr.
lot.
President, why can't you walk down to the FBI with this? No, really, I mean that, it's sincere, with TV cameras, and they give me the 1.2 million
What-
pages.
it's
Literally with TV camera, give me the
It's
1.2,
coming.
They're
and if
coming-
they
it's
don't,
coming to an
you're
end
fired,
also.
you're
It's all a
fired.
deep
Coming
state
to
thing.
But
You
give
know,
me
you
the
see it
pa-
happening.
It's so incredible. I mean,
Exactly.
it's so incredible. I can't even believe it.
I can't yell at the TV anymore than.
No, it's a deep state deal, but it's going good. You see the other side,
Unbelievable.
yeah. And the stuff that they have is so bad about the other side that they're trying to keep it.
They're
but
hiding
It's
it.
now coming
Are
out.
you waiting for the timing of it to be
Yeah, I have to wait.
released?
I'm waiting for the timing, the right time.
Smart.
But it's such bad stuff. Like Comey is guilty already.
Oh, he's
And every
just a
time he goes
disgrace.
on
I can't
television,
even.
he gets another.
Changing the
counter.
story.
I can't
Well,
even.
he-
I
he's
can't.
perfect, actually.
I
Yeah,
can't.
actually,
even-
he
couldn't have-
He looks like a complete.
Their attempted
He's a-
setup was the
he's a
biggest
fool.
backfire in the history.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
they were so shocked
He
that it
hung
went the other
himself.
way. They weren't prepared for it.
He's just.
Yeah.
You can't even look at him on TV. I mean,
No,
it's
he's a
embarrassing.
joke.
to
But
know
even the
he ran.
left,
The leftists, it's not even a conversation. They're just.
Sounds like a whiny teenager.
So I wanna make a toast.
But they're not so happy.
There you go.
No.
I wanna make a toast to us president. Thank you very much for the sacrifice that you and your family
What you
You're
put
not
up
kidding.
with.
you
Cheers.
put up with this shit.
Thank you so very much.
Well said.
Well said. Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy
Very
your
well
meal,
said.
whatever it is.
We got the presidential.
Very much.
I can't have different from other people. Who wants a steak? Who wants a steak? No, I don't want.
No.
I got presidential.
You know what this
burger.
was?
Mr. President,
Have a
everybody
steak, have a steak.
We don't have any
Good
choice.
choice.
don't care.
Simple choice. Everybody had
We
a
just
choice.
like the burger.
You go to the hotel.
Have a steak, enjoy it.
Everyone had a choice.
You know, I noticed they brought me a shrimp cocktail. I'm looking, who else has one?
You are the president.
And the owner of the hotel.
Hotel's doing great.
It's great to go. It's amazing.
This is our favorite.
Service is great.
When
It's like
there are no Democrats.
And downstairs.
Mr. President. Mr. President.
I love this place.
Yeah.
What?
Have you thought about allowing banking in some of these states that allow cannabis? From the banking to allow them to bank the money?
Yeah, well, the cannabis, look, you're talking about marijuana, right?
Right, but we're talking about just the states that are, I'm talking about.
Why, you can't do banking
legalization.
there?
That's the biggest problem, because none of the banks
Yeah,
accept the money.
it'll be, it's all working out. That whole thing
Because
is.
that's so important because.
I don't
of
know if
the-
that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I'm talking
You know,
about
it's
the
a big issue with a
taxation.
lot of people. You know,
I'm talking about the taxation of
millennials, it's
money.
like,
Well, the reason why I'm
the
saying.
military
because-
and the vets, it's a big one there.
Exactly. Well, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because we've been working very hard to try to figure out how to help with the midterms and everything that's going on. And like you said, I think it's a tremendous movement with a lot of the
But do
young.
you think the whole marijuana thing's a good thing?
I think there's, it's a combination. I think it's something that is in the future, and no matter how you look at it. I think it's something that's already so far out that you're not gonna stop it. I think you need to be ahead of it, and I think you need to control it and
Because in
regulate it.
Colorado, they have more accidents.
60%
It does cause an
of people
IQ
are-
problem.
No, there is minuses.
I think it's right.
No, there is
You lose
minuses.
IQ points.
Yep.
But then you take a look at your opiate crisis and then the veterans and the
But it's
children.
actually good for opioids.
Yeah.
Yes.
In other
It's
words,
fight against, yeah.
I'll say this,
Better alternative.
Yeah.
between that and alcohol, as far as I'm concerned, alcohol does much more damage.
Much more damage.
So,
You think, huh?
you don't see people driving, even,
100%.
you don't see people beating their wives.
Well, this is
Marijuana, it's just different.
This
It's not-
this is what I wanted to
They're just
recommend.
eating
I agree.
What I wanted to recommend to
The
you
issue is that
is not to move one way or the other, but what I wanted to recommend is to set up a committee.
So now,
A bipartisan committee,
that
no
justify
politicians,
letting marijuana-
I think
but just
the
leading people in the industry so
You're
you
at
could
least
have your
voting
ear
for it.
and so you could know what's going on to make the right decision.
It's such a skewed
By just
issue.
putting the committee
Yeah.
together,
Republican, you
I
embraced
think
it.
will give you such a
And one of those
boost
extra
in the
events-
midterms
one
by,
of those
with
I think
a lot
it's
of the
political decision
millennials,
to
a
go
lot
down
of
and
the
fucking have it.
minorities.
I can't.
A presidential committee on cannabis to be able to, set up, we got a lot of professionals, like even Boehner right now joined a group lobbying. He's started switching from Banner from the House Speaker. So I think there's a lot of people that if you get the right information, one of the things I did also, I'll leave it behind. There's some statistics and information that I think is extremely important for you to take a look at. That I think for the midterms could be, again, we're not talking about going one way or the other. I think the most important thing is for you to be ahead of the game. Because we got 30 states that already legalized it. You got over 90%
Involved in that business?
I'm not involved in that business, but I have a lot of friends that are. I'm in the energy industry, but I've been watching it evolve over the years. I live in Florida. I've seen what it does in Florida.
How's Florida doing now with Rick Scott?
Rick Scott's great. We're actually holding a fundraiser for him on May 29th. He's great. Rick is great.
Is he gonna win or is it tough?
like.
It's gonna be close, but I think we're gonna pull it
Yeah,
out.
I know if they're.
I think if we're ever gonna win, it's this time. I mean, we've been going hard for a while, but I think we got a good shot this time. So, I think if anybody's gonna do it, Rick's gonna do it. But we have a great state. Pam's great. I just had lunch with Pam last week. Bondi. So, Pam's fantastic.
Still regulated that way.
You need the right.
Actually,
Yeah, with the right.
Can't exactly have a lot of.
Yeah.
So again, it's a very subject that's controversial. It's not something that we need to go one way, but I think that as long as you have a committee that can give you the right direction, that's bipartisan, that's not one way or the other, I think then you could be ahead of the game and make the right decisions, because you will make the right decision which way it goes. And I'll leave some stuff behind.
How are you doing?
Good.
Thank you very much. What are you doing?
He's my partner in the energy industry.
Oh, good.
We're purchasing right now, we're in the process of purchasing, in the bidding. Ukraine is privatizing one of their biggest energy companies.
I get it.
So you're involved in mostly Ukraine?
Yeah, we're Ukraine, Poland, Lithuania, Turkey. Poland is great, actually, yeah, we're very close with the president. Turkey's, Brian's dealing with Turkey. Yeah.
They try to play, you know.
Artigan, yeah. They play both sides. And one of the things we're trying to do with the Ukrainian bill, if it works out, Turkey's in talks with the Russians right now to put a pipeline for their energy, nuclear active, right? Nuclear active retreat. So if we're able to do what we're doing, we'll be able to cut off Russia at the knees and put a pipeline from Ukraine under the water and start supplying Turkey with energy.
Blue water?
Underwater.
But I know, that pipeline is called blue
Blue
water.
water, yes.
How did you guys do with, how did you do with Milstein?
Whatever.
Every time I think it should be a different place, I'm not, so I'm just more than that. So
How's that going?
But, yeah. No, it's just-
Full disclosure, we could have found a
I
better
wish it was
business
binary,
partner.
right?
Yeah,
It's
he's
not.
terrible.
No, my grandpa's, he's 78 years old, and he doesn't need to deal with that kind of ego. But, you know, he came in with a sizable investment, and we
At
sold
the time,
it.
it was the right thing to
Yeah,
do.
exactly. And we figured for his,
So are you just sort of sitting back now? He was telling me he's just gonna sit back and who cares? Or is he,
we're trying to figure out ways to deal with his non-compete right now, because within the company, he's got, I think, a 5-year non-compete.
yeah.
And we're meeting with.
At 78, 5 years is a long time.
Exactly. But I mean,
And
as
the
you probably-
sad thing is he's really, I mean, between him and your father, they're great designers.
and they work.
You don't wanna waste 5 years in a way, right?
They're working.
At the end of 5 years, you can do what you wanna do?
Well, I mean, as you know, if you have any kind of celebrity attached to you, it's kind of hard to enforce a non-compete of that length. So all the news that we're getting back is positive on the 5-year span. But in the meantime, they're trying to figure out ways. They've got a few things in the pipeline where they can restructure some deals to, you know, if they're not taking upfront design fees, you know, maybe you factor in a charitable aspect. So he's going to find a way to do some work.
Which he likes anyway.
Exactly. And he's got, as you know, the Nicholas Children's Hospital.
But it's just it's an exhausting part, you know, because I know him, I know the guy.
Howard.
I mean, these New York guys, huh?
No, impossible.
Didn't he buy Golf Magazine?
Yes, sir.
Did he buy it?
I believe so, within the last year or so.
What's that?
Golf Magazine?
Yeah, well, Golf Magazine, they bought the club company, what's the, club company?
No, Howard bought Golf Magazine.
Yeah, he bought
Bought it
Golf
for
Magazine.
$15 million. 10 years ago, you would have paid $300 million.
Wow, 15 million, that's it.
15, can you believe it? Well, all
That's where our
magazines.
printers go.
All
Printers go, yeah,
magazines.
all magazines, yeah.
Magazines are dead.
It's a dead business. Print is out the door.
What do you think happens to cable TV?
I think cable TV is okay, right? Isn't it? Now, we'll say, if we ever lost an election, cable TV is dead. Can you imagine if they had a normal candidate? That's all they talk about. Trump stories, Trump. That's all they talk about. Now, if they have a normal candidate, if they had Hillary, crooked Hillary,
Oh, my God.
it would, their ratings would be 1/5.
Well, they just hope for hurricanes.
That's why I tell everybody they're gonna endorse me. About 6 months before the election, they'll endorse me, and then they'll unendorse me after that. No, but they're bad.
You were the only one that could have won against her.
Yeah, I
Because
guess. Well,
you
I
were
beat-
the
I beat the
only
Bush
one.
dynasty.
You were the
The
only
Bush-
one
And I
that
beat the
actually
Trump
called her
dynasty.
on her lies and her, you know,
That's
her
right, 2 dynasties
constant
you took out.
stuff.
Crooked.
Nobody else would have done that. Everybody else would have been too polite. They would have not mentioned
Obama
it.
would have
They
been
would have
easier,
wussed out.
second term.
You would have destroyed him.
Romney
Yeah.
should have never lost it. Obama would have been much easier.
Well,
Second
his
term.
big mistake
Yeah.
was in Boca opening up his mouth and getting that tape with the Hispanic.
You think Obama would have been easier than Hillary?
I think so.
And
I
he
think 4 years
disappeared.
before. I think Obama,
He was
second
damaged.
term, not first.
Yeah, he was damaged goods.
But-
Romney just couldn't get it
He
done.
disappeared at the
You know,
debate.
Romney was
still
so
terrible.
He disappeared at the
He was in
debate.
the-
Bernie
he just
Sanders
disappeared.
had it. They rigged it. Bernie would have beat Hillary in them right now.
He
That would have been tougher.
Yeah,
Because there was,
I agree.
because there was no hatred.
Right, you're right, there
Right.
was no hatred.
millennials
Millennials were right.
I mean, she's.
As great as he was, half my motivation working was
Hate
not let her do it.
100%.
Right.
I
And
think
that-
if
that's
she
what I
would've
think a
been
big
Bernie
part of our
when he was
reason.
vice president, it would have been tougher.
Yeah,
She picked a real stiff
Kane
Kane.
was what,
Yeah.
I couldn't,
But I
that
think
was a
Bernie,
plus.
you know, because all those people that hated her so much, who voted for me. You know, I got 20% of Bernie vote. People don't realize that because of trade, because he's a big trade guy. You know, he basically says we're getting screwed on trade. And he's right. I'm worse than he is. But, and we can do something about it. I don't know if he could have. But had she picked Bernie Sanders, it would have been tougher. It was the only one I didn't want her to pick. Now, then you say, people say, no, it would have been easier because then her sort of establishment, normal Democrats
And-
would have come to me. So
and
she may have lost a lot of votes too.
You're right, so you don't know.
I don't understand.
wouldn't
why
I think the
Bernie-
Democrats, the only thing they do well is they stick together, so I don't know that.
What is
Yeah,
the
they
deal
do,
with
they're
Bernie
really-
and Hillary now? Why is he
Why-
not
he should be
speaking
going
up for
crazy.
himself?
He should be going
Because,
crazy.
Is
because they
Bernie
took
gonna
him
be,
in
it is
a,
funny how he has not gone crazy, right?
because they took him in a locked room
They
and
pay-
they had a
they-
conversation with
they
him.
pay-
Of course,
They have to.
of course, they had a
He's living in
conversation.
he has 3 beach houses, like.
Of
they pay
course.
him.
He should be going nuts.
Is he gonna be
100%.
running?
I don't think so.
I think he might.
You think he might again?
Because he does a lot of television. Usually when they do a lot of television, that means they're running.
Biden seems like he's.
I like it because I'll be like the
Biden,
young
I hope
man.
Biden. I hope Biden runs. I'll tell you.
Let me ask a question about wind and solar versus natural gas, and electricity versus natural gas for vehicles. I am all for the momentum that electric vehicles have,
Right.
but here we are in North America with shale, oil and gas, with shale gas, which is, we have an abundance of natural gas. But here we are putting in these LNG tankers and shipping it and trying to sell it elsewhere. Now,
Well, that's good then, right?
it's
It's
great,
good,
it's great, but here we are, we have these car manufacturers that are just standing ready, and they're trying to figure out a way to meet the emission standards and everything else.
Yeah, but we're gonna lower that.
Well, we're,
You know that, the cafe standards.
absolutely, I mean, you've done a great job on that front. How can, I mean, there is a huge opportunity to try to open up compressed natural gas, CNG, to be on parity. And unlike electric vehicles, we don't want any tax credit. All we want is.
Is that what business you're in? Compressed?
Gas business.
Compressed or?
Absolutely. We're on the compression side, we're not on the production side.
They make the compressors to move the natural gas through the
We
pipeline.
move the natural gas. But if we can make CNG, natural gas vehicles, to be on par basis for with electric car, with the manufacturers to have a choice.
How are electric cars doing now?
Not good. Why? You know what
Well,
happened?
Tesla, he's got a
Yeah,
problem.
Well, Tesla's broke.
There's a reason for that.
You ran out of,
What do you think? Is that
He
good?
worked-
100%.
why?
He's shutting down the lineup of the most popular cars.
But the good thing about.
Because they can't produce them.
A number of reasons. Well, they can't produce them. The auto companies have caught up to him. All right, the other auto companies have caught up to him. He's never generated anywhere close to positive cash flow. He's subsidized by $25,000 per vehicle It's over. The other thing that people forget about is it's great to have an electric vehicle, but you gotta plug it in and get it charged somewhere. And the carbon footprint of this phone is the same as a refrigerator running. You need to generate the power. And generating it with wind and solar only generate 3.5% of our power usage today. You would take 50 years to get up to 5% at the rate we're growing.
Wow.
It is still a fossil fuels generating power. You have to have nuclear, you have to have oil and
Coal.
gas, and you have to have coal.
You have to-
They should call these
So
coal
Tesla's
stars.
done, how come the stock price is so high?
Because he's a
Because he's a
Because the
great
millennials, they're
salesman.
buying, exactly.
I took my
They're
son
buying
to market.
Yeah.
Exactly, because
President
they're
Trump,
not
my
thinking, they're not
son is 16 years
understanding.
old, I gave him a little bit of money and money he made working to invest in stocks. He
Because
said, what about
people vote
Tesla?
with their heart.
I showed him the cash flow. And I said, look, he's gonna, even if he starts making money today, at the rate, he's 10, 12 years before he's
Yeah,
back
but the
to break
stock
even.
is still very high, so.
Well, it's
Yeah,
it's like the
but
dot-com
that
era.
stock is history. He's done.
And he's bet against it?
Yeah.
He's a smart guy.
That's-
He's a very smart guy. He's a brilliant guy.
But he's a little off socially.
He's a brilliant guy, but the company's done.
Dabbles in
Tesla as a
things
car
that you
maker
were
is done.
talking about earlier.
Regardless, I think the nation, You gotta relax once in a while.
And here, they
Company's
think
done.
going electric,
No.
they're saving the planet, let them. I think it's awesome that they wanna do that. But give the auto manufacturers an opportunity to put out CNG cars where we have all this natural gas
100%.
that,
Free.
that
Plus-
is.
Almost free.
Yeah, we're the
that is-
Saudi of
that is
natural
such a
gas, we should be using it.
small-
No, we're the
engineers, their
Saudi,
manufacturing
Brazil,
operations, they're all
Venezuela, and
fit.
Russia natural gas.
Yeah.
To
We
converting
have the most
existing
natural gas
engines
everywhere.
to natural gas engines versus
So that's a
battery
third,
pack.
so that's a third type of car now you're talking about?
No.
But the good thing
No,
about
natural
it
gas
is
vehicles
it's
all
great,
over.
it's great
What?
for
Buses,
trucks.
Trucks and buses.
Cars,
For
cars
like
and
the
small vehicles
Ford
too, though.
F-150, you know, which is the most popular truck and vehicle.
It is?
You really,
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Absolutely.
If you
Why
can't,
is it?
you can.
It's the light utility truck
Is
that
that the-
everyone.
is that the aluminum?
That's what I
Working
drive.
American.
No, it's just a
You're
regular.
thinking of the Raptor.
It's
The
amazing.
Raptor went to a frame
It's
that's an aluminum
aluminum.
frame and it's.
How did the aluminum
This
work?
is a
in
basic
that? They
pickup
made
truck.
an aluminum truck.
I've got the aluminum body, yeah.
But you
What do you
can't do
think?
that in an electric
I love it.
vehicle.
Oh, you like it? Is it strong enough though?
Yes, sir.
Because it's
Does
lighter.
it dent easier?
I'm sorry?
Does it dent easier?
Um,
You'd think so.
as far as the
frame.
bed's concerned,
hit
it's
anything
lined
yet.
properly, so if you throw anything
Not
in, it's
yet.
fine.
Problem
I
is
haven't-
repairs.
I haven't,
Yeah, not
I haven't.
You can't
So
do
you have
that.
the, you have the aluminum body?
Yes, sir.
And did you request that?
No, actually Ford, I think their new line of trucks since, I think 2017.
He
they
started with the
switched
Raptor.
Well, has that turned out to be a good investment for them or not?
over. I'd have to look more into it. As a consumer, I like it. Back in the day, I had about 10 years ago, my first truck was a 2008 250. And I mean, I can just feel the difference driving the thing.
It's lighter?
Lighter?
So much lighter, the performance, I mean, it drives like a high performance vehicle.
Yeah,
Well,
but you gotta.
I think guys that are doing heavy working
But you-
probably prefer the steel frame.
Well, you have
Probably.
advanced high-strength
Probably.
steels now that have made up that ground
Yeah.
tremendously.
Yeah.
The aluminum, when you go to a body shop, to repair aluminum is
No way.
3 times the cost.
Uh,
No way.
that's the
Or more.
problem.
Just a whole different level of technical
Unless you're
welding.
repairing aluminum stuff, huh?
Yeah.
The welding takes a
Not
whole new
easy,
skill
yeah.
set. It's a.
But parity
Much more
between
advanced.
electric and CNG will provide incredible jobs for your auto manufacturers.
Well, it just gives them a
And-
variety.
Imagine the
gives-
drilling and fracking
Is
and-
is locally, it's domestic.
We have it, we can't store enough of it.
And it's plenty.
We don't know where to put natural gas.
And it's
right
clean.
now.
That's the other thing. It's very clean.
So is that happening?
Yeah.
No, because,
Why?
because
They wanna start
today, the auto manufacturers are not incentivized at all to put
Anything
CNG.
carbon.
But people still like gasoline cars.
Absolutely.
Yeah, still the
Well,
majority
and
is
that's the
still.
thing,
you're still-
CNG.
They really don't want the aluminum, I mean, they don't want the.
The majority is still.
The electric.
Yeah.
They don't
No,
understand.
they-
majority.
And
Do they
plus,
want the
doesn't-
hybrids?
It doesn't work
Yeah,
for a truck
hybrids
anyway.
are more, hybrids are
Hybrids
definitely
good.
more popular.
Much more than just
Absolutely,
electric.
So is hybrid working?
But
Yeah,
for-
But not great.
For trucks
For
and
small,
stuff.
for small
Smaller
So
cars.
they
trucks.
still
Smaller,
like
smaller.
gasoline,
Hippies like it,
Yeah,
so no
hippie,
working
yeah.
guy's gonna do
Again,
it.
it's a millennial
Doesn't
thing. It's a hippie millennial
Plus,
thing, 100%.
doesn't work for
Most,
I want my
most.
5.7 liter beer.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
You have to have either gasoline, diesel, or
He was a
CNG to get the power.
2 miles a
You
gallon.
like what, 5.7?
Just, I like big engines.
Yeah,
but
he
I-
wants 2 miles a gallon.
A little bit more at the pump doesn't
And
make as
you
much
are
of a
not
difference.
alone.
Not everyone likes cubic inches.
Everybody does.
Everyone wants cubic
So,
inches.
Mr. President,
Cubic inches.
we have, we run some CNG trucks,
Right.
semi-trucks. And it actually is more, it's prevalent, you can get it, but it's a lot less power, it's a lot less miles per gallon.
Really?
If you don't get, there's a 50-cent tax credit, if you don't get that, it really is not feasible.
Wait, but you said it doesn't have the power and it doesn't run as well. Other than that, it's wonderful.
Oh, but isn't it also a logistical issue in that
That's a
you
good
can't,
one.
it's not as prevalent,
It's
so you
not
have to
as
sort
prevalent,
of
but
plan
we-
routes that may not be the most effective route?
Well, not really.
It's-
I mean,
we're getting
yes and no,
there.
yes.
What do you mean trucks? What do you do? What would you say you were?
Our main thing we do, we haul mail for the postal service.
Oh, I see. So you know the difference, right?
Amazon.
So you have every kind. Is there anything like gasoline?
Well, diesel is truck.
Well,
Diesel.
how is diesel compared to regular gasoline? For
Oh,
you?
you don't see it.
Well, diesel in a semi, you can't run gasoline in a semi,
Right.
big tractor,
Oh, I
so.
see.
No, but
Why can't you?
But you can run.
It's not as strong?
it doesn't have the BTUs that diesel has.
But in mail trucks, you use, so you're using diesel.
Well, semi, we're long
And
haul.
you've tried with the compressed gas?
We
They don't move.
We do run
You
it.
can't
We
pull
run
them in.
CNG. We have some CNG
And
trucks.
how do you find them?
We don't like it. But the CNG the pricing is
good.
is really good.
But you said it's more expensive.
Plus
Well,
Why?
they're cleaner.
Because
No, but you need.
It's
It's
an
an evolution of the technology,
You need
because
to
the
develop-
internal combustion engine's been around forever,
The
like,
technology
doing
of
it for 35 years.
DSG shut off because everyone went to battery.
Okay.
But
The truck costs more.
In touching on
the
trucking,
availability, the distance, you have to keep refueling. So there's issues with it that aren't
He's the CEO.
that hard to overcome. But you gotta understand, the world is going either electric or fossil fuel. Well, but
freight has held back our
millennials and the rest of them are.
freight is holding back.
Está bien,
We
yo soy de
we could be doing more business. You can't get trucks. And there's two reasons why.
You can't get trucks?
You can't get trucks. We have
You
locations.
can't buy them?
Trucks are
No,
very tight.
no, people don't,
Trucking is very
people
tight.
I'm
don't
not-
wanna go into the business
They don't
for
make
two
them
reasons. And now it's gotten worse.
It's not,
So
he can't, he doesn't, sorry,
Yeah. No, please,
if I could fix that, you can get trucks.
Yeah,
You can't get somebody
You
in the
can't get somebody to
seat.
drive it.
But by the way,
You need somebody in the seat.
Yeah, so Mr. President, while trucking,
Trust me.
it's a tough job to go into.
Thank you.
So that's number one, and they made it a lot tougher with E-logs. So E-logs limits, anytime the wheel turns in a truck, it's part of the log for the day, and it's a 14-hour day. So let's say if someone is half an hour from home in their truck, in their long-haul truck, they literally have to pull over on the side of the road and stop. They can't go home. So they don't even want to do it anymore. So we have people that don't want to go into the trucking business, and we can't get enough drivers attracted to haul our product around the country.
Does a lot of this get solved with some of the automated?
Yes, but it's a long ways away.
That is
I
going to
mean,
happen.
some of it is, some of it, you're gonna have pitch and catch for that, but it's still a long, you need that last mile, you need
So
someone
you
there.
say you don't have manufacturers that can make enough trucks?
No, they're making trucks.
No, there's
You
no
don't have
drivers.
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 You get a driver.
Can't get drivers?
But-
The regulations are so tough,
Soon
they
you
can't
won't
do their
need 'em.
job.
So you'll be driving by
But-
themselves.
but-
Hey, we've all seen it.
but-
You know, that guy
as a
going 90
trucker-
miles an hour trying to make up time, he's working an
No, but
18-hour
really,
day and it pays. When
Insurance
you have
for
the
these-
limitations, you
insurance
can't
for
do
these
it.
guys that drive, inexperienced drivers who just came out of school.
You mean they can only drive so much?
Yes.
For-
Like a pilot?
E-logs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
So
Do
there's
the
laws,
hours.
so
I didn't know
basically
that.
shuts them down.
So they have a method that you shut down a truck?
So every truck now is
Wow.
on an e-log, okay, you're
But the-
electronically
Computer
logged.
regulated, basically.
So if
Yeah,
that
then
truck,
much
if he
money.
turns after 14 hours, if he's got
Usually about
20 minutes to
50.
get home, he can be flying huge and actually done trucking.
You have
He
to
just
So
have
could
to
you
pull-
buy an older truck
gotta
if you
shut
don't
down.
have that?
No,
No.
everything's e-log. You have to
I
convert it.
never knew that.
It has to be
That's
E-log.
terrible.
E-log.
So the average guy used to be able to do it because he'd say, hey, I'm willing to work a 12 or 14-hour day, so I can make up the difference by doing it. Now, if they're limited to 8 hours, they're sitting there for the other.
No, it's meant for safety and
They can
we all
drive,
agree
they
with
can
it.
drive for 11. they can't have to be home within 14.
What happens if you have
But-
two drivers?
The team, a tandem or a team,
You can continue.
you
They
can continue, but again, it's more expensive and it's rare, right? So it's very tough. If you were to ask me 5 years ago, my biggest problem in business would have been, imports are always number one that we're battling against. What I would say almost tied with that today is transportation.
But
I can't move my material.
How's Amazon doing?
Oh, they're doing great.
Well,
Amazon-
They're doing great.
Well, seriously, is that a
losing
business
money.
that's gonna work out?
Well,
I don't
you know,
know.
if you
You
can
deliver something, you pick it up, you deliver it.
It's a fad.
How do you make
It's
money?
a fad.
Well, you can lose money for 20 years, you get a hall pass on doing, you decimate everybody else, you're gonna then own the industry.
Exactly, that's what
Yeah,
he's
the other
doing.
guys are starting now, Walmart and all these. I just
They're all starting the drop shipping.
I just
That was a
wonder.
great
If
call.
I could,
Huh?
That was
if
a
I-
great call on Amazon.
No,
Oh, I think you're
they're
right.
ripping off the post office.
I think you're spot on.
No, but you know that.
the postal service can do,
I know, but 40%
Anybody-
of the business you do is with Amazon.
no,
And they don't pay enough money.
2% to the postal service.
Wow.
They say it's 40.
No.
They actually said it's 40. You mean, maybe it's 2% of the package, maybe because you're using compressed gas, you can't count.
Okay,
I agree with that.
I have a lot of information on postal service if you ever want to get there, but if I could, just a quick one.
How's the
Something
postal
that-
service doing?
Actually,
Donuts.
I've been dealing with them
Don't
for
ask.
40 years, and I think they're the best they've ever been.
Really?
They have great management. They basically break even other than the pension that they're pre-funding.
The unfunded pension liabilities.
It's crazy.
6 billion.
But if I could, as a solution rather than a problem, if I do think that the government should do a 500-mile piece of road, dedicate a lane on both sides for autonomous trucks. Talk about a driver shortage. These trucks, all the technology is there right now. There isn't any reason to not have autonomous trucks.
So you're a
other
big
than
believer
putting
in
them
that.
with the cars. You can't put them with the cars. So
Why?
just-
Why can't you put them?
the insurance, the regulations, the states, the perception. But if you would put a separate lane, just
How safe is autonomous?
it's absolutely safe. If you,
It's an amazing concept.
would you,
Unbelievable.
I saw a drive.
So weird when you-
So weird. I saw a car driving outside.
Our generation is not.
And you can have a partial, you can put some of these truck drivers say, hey, you could work a 15-hour day, now you're just riding along.
You're pitching,
No,
pitching
but
catch
if
on
you
those
could
long
just
routes
do-
like he said.
I still don't see.
500
I'm
miles
scared of those.
to
You see
start
those
it.
cars driving
Just
by
get it
themselves.
started.
But I
That
don't
freaks me out.
understand why Amazon, when they're getting a bulk rate, that bulk rate is actually sucking up and using the postal service's capacity, which forces them to actually add. Why, if you're using up that much capacity in the bulk rate, why don't you just charge them more?
it's the same.
Why are you
rate.
charging them more?
Everyone at this table gets that rate. You
Yeah,
get
yeah,
that rate.
No, I
Everyone at
understand,
this
but
table
that's
gets that
the point. They should be charging
Mr.
more.
President, a little off the subject. I have a little something. It's a
They
little
want more.
present. The head
They want
rabbi of
more.
Ukraine
They want you to mail
and some
more.
of the rabbis in Israel are so
They want
thankful.
everybody at this table.
They
Thankful
do,
for
but
what
they
you
don't
do.
understand the cost of
They-
it because they're inefficient.
In the Hebrew religion, they wait for
The
the
bulk rate
Messiah
should be
to come.
higher. Wow.
So the Messiah Moshe
The
ben
bulk rate
David,
should
if you
subsidize
take their
the-
name,
They're making it up in volume,
you see where it adds up
They don't make up
424.
losses in volume.
If you take your name, Donald Trump, and then there's your name, it adds up to 424. It's something that is very, very
unbelievable, yeah.
unbelievable.
What does that mean?
It means
It's like you have the same numbers than Messiah, you know.
it's like meaning
Good, right?
Yeah, it's like not good. It's like best. It's like miracle.
Why 424? Why is that?
It's like name of Messiah, you know.
that's his name, Messiah. The Messiah comes out to
What
424.
are the numbers you got?
No, it's not the
It's
number.
exactly the
your
number.
Your name, and the numbers, it adds up to his name. It's 424, 424 in the Jewish. So it's like Messiah is the person that's come to save the whole world. So it's like you're the savior being, that's for you a blessing.
It's amazing. We just thought we're like, wow. It's amazing, you know.
It can't hurt. It can't hurt.
So, all Jew people of Ukraine, they're praying of you, you know. They're like,
Show it to Jared. He'll explain. Good.
it's like,
You should go to Israel on the 14th. Is she gonna go ahead up?
I don't think so. So they were gonna spend $1 billion building the building. I spent 150,000.
Really?
We took a building and we just converted it.
This is a great one.
Did you ever hear that?
The hotel?
So we're gonna spend $1 billion on the, whatever, the embassy in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And they had a paper from 1,100,000,000.
Wow.
And David Friedman called me up, he said, we'll just take the existing building that we have on
Of
the
course,
site.
you know, it's consulate.
We don't have to buy a site.
Yeah, it's the
Great
same.
location.
It's the same. Great location.
And take a corner of the building.
That's
And
it.
we'll have it.
Nothing to do, you know, just change the name.
So I said, you don't have to make it 150, make it 250.
Versus $1 billion one.
It'll be open in 2 weeks.
Yes.
14, yeah.
It took like 3 months to build.
Amazing, amazing.
And we have an embassy that's
Amazing,
And
amazing.
the other way,
Thank-
if we
thank-
spent,
absolutely,
you're
thank you.
Jewish?
Yes.
If we spent $1 billion, so we would have spent $1 billion, it would have been 10 years before it opened, if that. and it
Of
would have been
course,
too big.
of course.
Since you're Jewish, you understand what I just
Now, that
said?
doesn't mean they're not gonna knock it
The
down.
head rabbi
But-
counted the names.
So they had to go out and buy a site for a tremendous amount of money. But they have a building on an existing site that's a better location, the best location.
Incredible.
It's even set back, it's a fairly large site, it's set back, which is good for safety.
And I heard other countries that are joining in, and
Yeah, no, no,
embassy.
So they're taking it, they took a corner of the building, fixed it for $150,000.
Incredible.
So instead of $1 billion, they spent $150,000.
Yeah,
Isn't that
it's amazing, you know.
One of my
David
favorite.
Friedman, he called, he said, you know,
You save the world, Mr. President.
yeah, for $150,000 versus $1 billion. And we have a better location, because there was no location.
No,
Like
no.
the UK embassy.
Mr. President, can I share with them about what the rabbi gave to you? I think it's special. Since you're Jewish, you understand the Messiah. So the head rabbi of Ukraine and Israel, they took the President Donald Trump, his name, and they came out to the same lettering as the Messiah. So it's a very special thing that they handed over to him.
So my father.
It's the same number, you know. It's amazing how it's count, you know.
Really?
They were very close friends and bulls. As a kid, I went to his home in Israel and had dinner there. Very young, and it was amazing. I mean, now I realize the significance of it.
Oh.
But my dad didn't talk for 2 years when he gave back the Sinai. He was pissed off.
So folks, I want to thank you all very much, I'll get back.
Thank you
It's not
so
a long
much.
trip.
You don't have to wait for lights and stuff like that either.
Always, every time we move with about 125 cars, you never saw anything, it's like. It's incredible, and they do a great job, the Secret Service
Great
does,
job.
but we have like 115 cars, so it's not that easy to come over. Don always says, oh, can we do it outside of the White House? I guess, I don't know, there's a campaign.
That's White House counsel
There's a
says.
ridiculous
I'd be
campaign.
happy to do it in the White House.
There's a ridiculous campaign thing about that, which I think is wrong. Doesn't make sense. They spend a fortune getting over here. The
doesn't
other way
make
costs
sense.
nothing.
Costs nothing.
It
For
has
us to
be a
come to you.
mistake. It has to be a
Exactly.
mistake. I'm sure it's a mistake. But I like this hotel anyway. We can't get better.
Yes, let's go.
So do we.
You know.
And,
But I have a MAGA hat I wear all the time. If you could sign it, I'd
Yeah,
love
give it to me. Where is it?
Mr. President, in the meantime, we'd like, on behalf of this group here tonight, to offer you 2 honors. One is the great Teddy Roosevelt in 1913 created the famous speech, "The Man in the Arena." And we framed it here tonight, and I'd like everybody to sign it on your behalf. But it says here, and this is you against all odds, never having run for office,
That is true.
taking on 17 plus Republican candidates and winning substantially, and we're gonna win for you again.
Yes, we are.
This
2020.
The Man in the
He's waiting for
Arena,
us.
Teddy Roosevelt, 1913, the famous speech, you've heard of it.
Very famous.
It's not the critic, etc., etc. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again and wins again, but never gives up. Never will his heart be with those cowering souls that know neither victory nor defeat. This is for you. We're all going to sign it as it goes around the table
You
tonight.
don't have to sign it. You know, I'd rather have it.
Why, you want to be worth something? That was something.
I want Jack Nicklaus to sign it, but don't listen to
All right, sign it. You have a shot. What's to you? You can go sell it.
Whose is this?
That's
Barry's,
it.
that's
Thank you. Thank you so much. Executive President. This is Jack Nicklaus.
Karen and Tom.
Oh, waiver. We briefed a little bit on it, but that is to post the event in.
Is he a good guy to work with?
He's a great man.
He's a good guy.
Yes, sir.
Well, we were looking at deals years ago, we've had no stand-up for over a decade, so it's
He told me you went over
it's a great club.
I don't have the pen.
Here we go. We'll take care of that after the president.
Should we sign it or what?
Yeah, we'll take care of that after the president.
Put it here.
See, the other side doesn't want to go to South Korea, which I understand. Let me see this. You sign it? All right.
Not yet.
It is.
No, I like this.
No, we're giving it to you.
Except the picture's crooked, what the hell?
The frame. Thank you. Listen.
Well, thank you all. That's very nice, huh? Easy job, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Hold that for me, will you?
Yeah, I got it.
Mr. President, I also handed John
Thank you.
the paper
Good.
so you can actually look at it.
You're welcome, sir. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Good seeing you again. Yeah, we got it.
Thank you, everybody. Very interesting.
Appreciate everything.
Good job. Keep up the good work. Thank you, I will.
Yeah,
I
you're
will.
doing a great job.
Thank you. This was fun tonight.
Don't listen to those
Thank
idiots
you,
in the
man.
press.
Good luck with it. Very good.
Everybody please stay in the room, if you would.
They don't know it. What's the DMZ?
No, they're not doing it there either.
Because you can't get all this information. What we're underground. The only difference is it's green islands. I thought it would. I thought it would. No. I appreciate it very much.
Say hello to the family.
We don't have a lot of.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Brian.
Hi all, we just gotta save parents like parts and then I can No, sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm parts and then
That's fine.
Tommy,
Right, fun.
All right.
thank you so much, man. Come on, couldn't have been better. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah. You know what?
Appreciate you guys.
But to be able to make a couple points and hear how he feels, it's fantastic and reassuring. It's great.
Hey, that ain't up to me. That part ain't up to me. You know that's what I because it seems like it goes by quickly and like it just oh yeah. What do you do? What do you want to do? It's great to meet you.
we all kind of.
I'll send you a message. And I'll give you a call when I come up with it.
Hey, boys. How you doing, baby? I gotta kind of do my job. You're gonna need that. Always.
Hey, baby.
We're Florida in here. We'll let you know about the opening. You bet. Guys, be well. Thank you very much.
I'm walking out with you, lady. I gotta spend 2 seconds with you. Johnny.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Jackie, you got your stuff?
You're right. Thank you so much. My pleasure. Great seeing you again.
Get this.